Are you ready to uncover the shocking truth behind Ollie and Poppy Playtime Chapter 4? What if everything you thought about him is a lie? If you love Poppy Playtime, hit the like button because it helps me make more theory videos. Subscribing is free and you can change your mind anytime. Today, we're diving deep into one of the darkest mysteries of Poppy Playtime. You've heard whispers about Ollie before, but in Chapter 4, his story takes a twisted turn. Who is Ollie really? What did he do? And how did he vanish into the shadows? We're about to reveal the secrets hidden in the abandoned halls of Playtime Co. and show you the clues that might explain what happened to him. Let's break it down. In Chapter 4, as you wander through the corridors of the abandoned factory, a familiar voice guides you through playcare and even warns you about danger. That voice belongs to Ollie. But things aren't what they seem. Fans have long suspected that the friendly, helpful Ollie is hiding a dark secret. Some say he might not even be who he pretends to be. Was he really a young child lost in the maze of the factory? Or is he something more sinister? A mask worn by the prototype. Remember the clues from earlier chapters? In Chapter 3, Ollie's voice helped you avoid traps and guided you safely through playcare. His upbeat tone and seemingly caring nature made you trust him. But in Chapter 4, as the story grows darker, you start to notice inconsistencies. Ollie's voice begins to crack, his words become eerie, and his guidance starts to feel like a trap. The factory's secrets are slowly unraveling, and each clue adds another piece to the puzzle. One theory is that Ollie might have been a real child in playcare. Imagine being a kid forced to navigate this haunted toy factory, surviving horrible experiments and watching as everything around you falls apart. But if that were true, how could a child survive all these dangers? That mystery deepens as we learn about the horrific experiments that took place during the infamous Hour of Joy. In this chaos, the prototype, a rogue experiment capable of mimicking voices, could have easily taken advantage of the situation. The prototype is known to copy others, and Ollie's sweet childlike voice might just be a disguise, a clever imitation to earn trust. Clues point to a tragic past. In hidden audio logs and scribbled notes found scattered in the dark corners of playcare, you might notice hints about lost children and twisted experiments. Some recordings mention that the prototype needed a facade to control both the toys and the people. Could it be that the real Ollie died years ago, and what we hear now is nothing but an echo, a voice stolen by the prototype? When the prototype speaks as Ollie, it's as if he's mocking us, reminding us that nothing is as simple as it appears. As you venture deeper into the labyrinth of Chapter 4, the game shows us brief flashes of documents and recordings. One recorded message suggests that someone, Ollie, was once a trusted ally of Poppy and the player, guiding them with helpful advice. But then, just as suddenly, that same voice reveals a chilling twist. It's time to come home. That phrase, delivered in a tone that sends shivers down your spine, hints that Ollie may have been planning something all along. Was he merely a guide, or was he orchestrating events behind the scenes? Consider this. Every time you follow Ollie's advice, you're led deeper into dangerous areas of the factory. What if his true goal was to trap you, to bring you into the very heart of the prototype's domain? That's one possibility many fans have explored. The theory goes like this. Ollie's kind guidance is a ruse. Behind his innocent voice lies a mastermind who wants to lure you into a deadly game. Once you're inside, you're vulnerable, and the prototype can strike at will. This twist would not only explain the voice's eerie change in tone, but also the mysterious interference during Ollie's calls. As the interference grows stronger, so does the sense of betrayal, leaving you wondering if you ever knew who Ollie was at all. Now, let's talk about the evidence. In Chapter 4, there are several moments when the phone call with Ollie is filled with static and odd distortions. This isn't a glitch, it's a hint that something is altering his signal. Many fans believe this interference is the prototype's doing, trying to erase any trace of the true Ollie. Even when you think you're hearing a friendly voice, the underlying message is dark and cryptic. The game's subtle audio cues, like the sudden pauses and eerie echoes, are designed to make you question what you're really hearing. Another key moment comes when you start noticing small details in the environment. Abandoned notes on the walls, faded photographs of smiling children, and scraps of paper with mysterious symbols all add to the sense of a hidden past. These details suggest that playcare wasn't just an orphanage. It was a place where horrific experiments took place, where children were used as test subjects. In this grim setting, it's possible that Ollie was once a victim who never truly escaped. Instead, his identity was twisted by the experiments, leaving only a shell, a voice that now serves the prototype. But then, there's the twist. Some of you might remember a shocking revelation later in Chapter 4. During a tense moment, the voice on the phone suddenly shifts. It tells you that if you thought the shrine was scary, just wait until you see the real thing. Then, as you approach the climax of the chapter, the voice confesses a truth. Ollie has been dead for years, and the voice you trusted all along was nothing but the prototype in disguise. This is the climactic key moment of the theory. The friendly guide is revealed to be the enemy, and every moment you followed his advice might have been part of a grand design to trap you. Imagine the emotional impact of that moment. You've been working through puzzles, dodging dangers, and trusting a voice that promised safety. And then, in a single gut-wrenching revelation, you learn that the voice was a lie, a stolen identity used to manipulate you. It's a moment that leaves you questioning everything. Who can you trust in this forsaken factory? How many other secrets are hidden behind these twisted toys and echoing voices? The theory deepens when you consider the relationship between Ollie, Poppy, and the prototype. Poppy, who once relied on Ollie's guidance, now seems haunted by the betrayal. Her actions in Chapter 4 become desperate, trying to escape, to avoid being trapped in the same cycle of horror that has claimed so many lives. As she flees through the corridors, you can sense that she knows something is terribly wrong, that the Ollie you thought you knew is gone forever. And in that moment, the factory's dark secret is laid bare. The true identity of Ollie was used to serve a twisted agenda, one that benefits the prototype and dooms everyone else. Let's step back and ask, what does this all mean for the story of Poppy Playtime? The game's narrative is built on layers of mystery and hidden clues. Every detail, every static-laden phone call, every cryptic note points to a world where nothing is as it seems. The idea that Ollie is a facade is not just a theory, it's a mirror reflecting the larger horror of the factory. In a place where experiments blur the line between human and toy, identity itself becomes a weapon. And the prototype, by adopting Ollie's voice, demonstrates that even the most innocent-seeming guide can hide a dark and twisted secret. This theory forces us to reconsider our assumptions. Instead of seeing Ollie as a victim or a benign helper, we must confront the possibility that he was a pawn all along, a pawn whose identity was stolen and repurposed to manipulate the player and ensure the prototype's control. It raises chilling questions. If Ollie was never real, who was he meant to represent? Was he simply a tool to lure you into danger? Or was he also a warning of what happens when humanity is stripped away by cold, calculated experiments? And then, there's the emotional fallout. The realization that Ollie is nothing but an echo of the past, a ghost in the machine, adds a layer of tragedy to the story. The friendly voice that once comforted you now sounds hollow and mocking. It's a reminder that in this world, nothing is sacred, and every soul can be lost to the darkness of Playtime Co.'s twisted experiments. As the game hurtles toward its climax, you're left with one final burning question. What happened to the real Ollie? Did he ever exist at all, or was he always just a casualty of the prototype's cruel design? The evidence seemed to suggest that the true Ollie was a real child who suffered at the hands of the factory's experiments, only to be erased from memory and replaced by the prototype's mimicry. His disappearance, then, becomes a symbol of the factory's inhumanity, a place where even the most innocent lives can be consumed and repurposed without a trace. Now, as you reflect on all these clues and theories, think about the broader implications. Poppy Playtime isn't just a game about haunted toys, it's a story of betrayal, loss, and the terrifying consequences of playing with life and death. Ollie's fate is intertwined with that of the factory itself. His supposed survival, his role as a guide, and his eventual revelation as a lie serve as a warning. Trust is a luxury in this cursed place, and every ally might hide a hidden agenda. Even as the final moments of Chapter 4, with explosions shaking the foundation and the sinister voice echoing in your ears, the mystery remains. Huggy Wuggy, who you thought had fallen long ago, makes a surprise return, further blurring the lines between life and death. In that final moment, as red smoke fills the room and the echoes of past tragedies reverberate, you're left with the unsettling knowledge that the truth is still out there, hidden in the static of a broken phone call, in the faded pages of a forgotten notebook, in the very walls of the factory. All of this comes together to form one haunting narrative. The tale of Ollie is not a simple story of a child lost, but a complex web of deception and horror. The prototype's manipulation of Ollie's identity is the most chilling reminder that in Poppy Playtime, nothing is as it appears. Every friendly voice, every whispered promise might be a trap laid out by a force that feeds on our trust and our hope. And as the factory continues to whisper its dark secrets, you must decide whether to heed the warnings or risk becoming another lost soul in its depths. So, as we piece together the fragments of this grim puzzle, remember that every theory, every piece of evidence, and every unsettling moment adds up to one undeniable truth. In the world of Poppy Playtime, even the ones you trust the most can betray you, and in that betrayal lies the true horror of the game. Ollie, all lie. Subscribe.